Hey everyone, welcome to the Paddle Talk podcast. It is episode 107 presented by World Sand Drag News. Great to have you along this week. We've got a full gambit of guests from Tristan Graham and Caleb Mings on the West Coast to myself, John Sorg, and Damian Bowers here in the Midwest. Great to have you along, and we've got some great stuff coming up. But none of this is possible without our sponsors. And bringing you the Paddle Talk podcast, just like every Paddle Talk podcast, is our friends at Racing in the Dirt from Cleveland, Wisconsin. With over 40 years of racing experience, they're going to help you and your race program with all kinds of stuff, from turnkey cars to rolling chassis to components such as tires, wheels, brake kits, wheelie bars. They do on-site welding and fabrication. So if you're both at a race and you need a quick fix, Scott and Shane and the crew can help you out and get that done as well. They're here to help you and your race program for the 2026 season. So give them a call today, area code 920-693-2000. That's area code 920-693-2000. Or you can find them on Facebook, or you can find them the old-fashioned way, so to speak, on the web at racinginthedirt.com. They UPS all of their parts, so no matter what part of the country you're in, they can get parts to you quickly and efficiently. That's Racing in the Dirt.
We also want to thank Silverback Off-Road Speedway. This is a premier sand drag facility, short course tracks, and hill climb located in Mears, Michigan at 7186 West Deer Road. They are going to be kicking off their season for the 2026 racing schedule with some short course racing May 1st and 2nd. They've got an expanded schedule for their short course offering this year. So stay tuned. Check out their social for that 2026 schedule. First sand drag race is going to be May 22nd and 23rd. So make sure you guys are prepping for those races, and you guys can check them out at silverbackspeedway.com or give them a call at area code 231-629-6379. That's 231-629-6379 at silverbackspeedway.com, or find them on Facebook.
And if you're up there for a race weekend anyway, and you want to check out these Silver Lake sand dunes, look no further than Silverback Off-Road Rentals. Located right near the entrance to the dunes, they can put you behind the steering wheel of a premium off-road vehicle. Whether it's an all-day trip or just a sunset cruise, Silverback Off-Road Rentals has you covered. They're open April through October, so call today and get with them and get your reservation in there. That's Silverback Off-Road Rentals, and you can find them on Facebook.
And last but not least, we want to thank 31 Go Life. That's the number 3 ONEGO-Life on YouTube. From trucking, truck repair, racing on, and some working on some top alcohol sand drag cars, you can follow along with Doug Vinlett and all of his crew as they go through and show you all of the life of trucking and sand drag racing. And we're going to be seeing them here on the West Coast soon. So definitely going to probably be a few extra episodes there on 31 Go Life on YouTube for that haul over to the West Coast. So make sure you guys are following along and subscribe to their channel. They also have the Dirt Podcast, which we just recently, Isaac DeHaan as a guest on there. So make sure you guys are following along. They get to some nitty gritty on the sport of sand drags, a little bit of bench racing and shop talk on that program as well. So check them out once again on YouTube at 31 Go Life.
All right, so let's dive right in, folks. Episode 107. Here we go. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the Paddle Talk podcast. It's episode 107. We're talking all things Dome Valley recap from the Arizona Sand Drag Shootout. I am joined tonight by West Coast folks, Caleb Mings and Tristan Graham, and my Midwest peeps, Damian Bowers and John Sorg. Great to have everybody along. And let's just dive right in. So Arizona Sand Drag Shootout, second race of the Dome Valley race season this past weekend. And weather looked like it was pretty good, gents. Yeah, no?
Yeah.
How are we feeling about that?
It looked a little
Weather
windy
was
from
great.
my point of view, but other than that, it looked like it was pretty decent.
It did get a little windy on Sunday in the morning, but the rest of the weekend was really pretty good. It was warm. Wasn't too hot. It helped knock my cold out a little bit. So I came into the race a little sick, but you know.
Yeah, you needed it.
So you're to blame for that, huh? Dude, you got me good. I gotta stop
I
kissing
got
Caleb and
you.
racetrack.
taking
Uh-huh.
taking it all through the pits.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we didn't even see each other, Tristan. You were so busy fixing broken race cars.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true, man. We were busy grip. That's last race.
All right.
I think you got it from Terry. Terry was sick. There was a lot of people sick. That's how that weekend went. But a good weekend. I don't think I worked on stuff as much as Tristan did, but within the Mings Racing Camp, we made lots of changes to my bike, and still not quite there, but we're close.
We're close. All right.
We're close.
All right. Let's go to Friday results then.
Yeah.
Shall we? All right. So what do we got Friday? Friday we have what? 395 Intex car, 395 Intex ATV. We have 450 Index, and we have Friday car and Friday ATV Gambler. So I mean, we got a fair amount of racing yet Friday night, which is pretty good. So, should we start with the 395 ATV Index?
Sure. Yeah, so 395 ATV Index, we saw Shane Crum on the no bar bike taking the win over Marco Navarro. I know Shane, he comes out, he doesn't like running the Sportlight stuff, but he comes out and kicks butt with the 395 and doesn't no bar, and he's got that thing really figured out. And Marco taking second place there. We saw him at the last race kind of finally starting to get that bike figured out, and he's running right on that 395 kind of 4.0 number. So he I was talking to him after the race. He's talking about swapping combos. He's got a kind of an odd engine in there. It's a 4 mil DM motor, and he says, man, these DMs, they're great when they're big, but when they're really short stroke, they're not so great. They like to beat up pistons, and so he's tired of fixing stuff, and he's talking about going to a 421 in the near future. And maybe putting that motor into his old hill chassis that he used to race. So, but yeah, he's doing pretty good there with his program, and yeah, kudos to Shane and Marco there.
Nice, yeah, well done, gents. Well done. All right, and 395 car index.
Yeah, so we saw familiar faces in the 395. Braden Root in the Shadow, as they call that Jeep now. He took the win over Clayton Teeter in his new Jeep. That's Mike Irwin's old one we were talking about a few pods ago. And they definitely cleaned that thing up really nice. It was always nice when Mike had it, but it looks really clean. They got that kind of that aqua teal for the frame, and real pretty white on it. And he's got a new motor in it. Had some zoomies on there that I know Tristan likes.
Oh yeah, that's my jam, dude.
It looks pretty cool sticking out the side of that Jeep now. So
sweet. That is cool. All right, 450 index.
Yeah, so moving into the 450 index for the cars, we saw Heath McCrary taking the win over his teammate, Jared Fauché. Jared also with a new Jeep out there. This is his second event with that Jeep. Getting it dialed in. I know that was definitely a pedal fest for Jared because that Jeep is much quicker than the 450 index. And I know that Heath is definitely running a little bit truer to that 450 time. So, but pretty cool to see the teammates there in that final.
Nice. All right, on to the Friday ATV Gambler.
Papa Mings taking the win. So kudos to my dad, taking another gambler win out there, Dome Valley. He got the win over Marcus Rydell. So that was really cool. I'll jump a little ahead on Marcus. We did talk about it on some of the live feeds. Marcus on Saturday ended up coming off the bike about 3/4 track range. Was not pretty from what I was told. But thankfully he was okay. Messed up his shoulder pretty good that he landed on. Kind of fell off on the left side of the bike, and shoulder was the first thing to hit the ground. And he was still connected to the bike, so the whole bike tumbled with him a couple times. And he got cut on his arm and his leg a little bit, and some bruising. Either exhaust or paddle, don't really know, because obviously it's hard to tell in those situations. But he was at the track the rest of the day Saturday. He stuck around on Sunday. Still was a bit sore, but he was getting a little bit more movement in his shoulder and arm and stuff. So he said he'll be back. He plans to be at East versus West. So just wishing Marcus, speedy recovery and all that. It's never fun when anybody goes down on the ATV.
No,
Isaac, you would know.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, no doubt, man. Marcus, don't do that, dude. Yeah, that's a bad idea. So
yeah, anyway. Especially top end of the track too.
Yeah, no, that's definitely never a good idea. So, all right, Friday Car Gambler then.
Friday Car Gambler, we saw the Shadow taking the win again. Braden Root getting the win over Jared Crawford in that Child's Play Yabba Dabba Doo racing Jeep. So Braden really on a hot streak with that ride for sure.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, no doubt. So, all right, jumping ahead to Saturday. Saturday, we've got Sport 1, Sport 2, and then we have Sport 1 ATV, Sport 2 ATV, and we have a car and an ATV gambler for Saturday night.
Yes, sir. Let's just go in. We'll do Sport 1 car, then ATV, and bounce back and forth. Sure. Okay, so I was actually on site for these. As much as I could try to go and get the coverage in between messing with the bike. But Sport 1, we saw the Team ALC Underground out of Chino Valley, Arizona. Arnold Cox getting the win in his 4-power dragster over Jared Crawford. We'll see Jared a lot throughout the weekend in that Child's Play Jeep. So, he's definitely always a top contender there in a lot of different classes. In the Sport 1 ATV, we saw Dominic Pena taking the win over Marco Navarro. So Marco getting another runner-up there. Unfortunately, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, but Dominic is a tough customer for sure. Moving over to the Sport 2 car. This time we saw Jared Crawford taking the win, and he got the win over Jonathan Avila. And they've got kind of like one of those more Yuma, like Mexico kind of style Jeeps where it's the 4-wheel drive, looks pretty stock on the outside, but pretty clean. They did really well and got that second place there. And then Sport 2 ATV, we saw Silas Posnikoff. This is on George Amos's old Trinity 250R 3-wheeler. So they finally got everything working on it as best as they could. He still is getting used to riding it. It's a very different bike to ride, just with the position and how light it is, and very different for him. But he did really well in the sports class, and he got the win over Aubrey Pena.
Nice. All right, ATV Gambler for Saturday.
ATV Gambler. So this was crazy. So everybody, all the heavy hitters, went out round 1 in ATV Gambler. They did some weird stuff with the track, I felt. Did a lot of 60-foot drags and stuff. And the only thing we could figure out is that somehow in doing that, there were some extra hard spots kind of all over the track, because we had tons of people, all the heavy hitters in the class, went left or right. Several people almost crashed, myself included. Ew. I was told by Mike Brock that I was on one wheel for a moment. So I'm like, I don't really want to do that. I know Marco, from what I was told, he almost came off the bike. He said he was fine. So a little bit different, behind the bars versus what you see when you're off the bike. But everybody went out first round, and it came down to some newer people in the class. We saw Anthony Pierce. He was on a 254 tracks, and he was, going down there running through gears. I know he borrowed a gas cap from us, so Mings Racing was a little bit of a part on that win, and he took the win over Chase Tabor, who was out there on a nice, I think it was a Redline built kind of Dune Banshee. Super clean bike too, for sure.
So what'd you guys charge for rent on that fuel cap?
Yeah. No, that was free. That was free. So always want to help people out when we can.
Oh, yeah.
And then Saturday Car Gambler. You know what? Let's let Tristan talk about who won the Saturday Car Gambler, because it's somebody out of the Triple Threat crew took it all the way.
Fabio pulled that thing together, man. I can't believe that guy. He goes out there and, you know, as long as Bill hits every gear, he is an absolute weapon. And probably to my own and his own demise, I've been fucking with him, excuse my language, trying to get him to put a small block in his car, you know, back half it and kind of do what we do, you know. And he's like, he was so close. And then he just cleaned house. And I was like, well, there goes that. He's stuck in his ways. But he is a great racer, man. And he was busy. He was busy all weekend. You know, he was going rounds in his car and helping my dad. And yeah, Bill is an asset to our program, man. He's a great dude. We love him to death.
That's awesome.
And he took out a heavy hitter in that final too, because he beat Braden Root, who we just saw on Friday go out there and win the Friday Gambler and take the 395 index. So, I mean, what more can you say for Bill? You know, like he didn't have an easy round, I don't think, going into that final.
Yeah. That's another good grip of dudes, man. I've really come to learn to love the bracket class racing. That's where I came from, but the whole DFS crew has been such a good grip of dudes. They're so cool. They're so nice. And, man, they're killers. They're so good that, well, this is a problem because, right there, I'm building a bracket car.
Uh-oh.
That's a cool car.
Yeah, Frameworks car. Because of them. I just like hanging out with them so much that I was like, man, I got to get something together just to come play with them and Chloe and Bill and the whole gang, man. All those guys are cool as fuck, man.
A little easier to drive than your normal car.
Well, this will be cool because it's going to be set up exactly like my car. It's a clutch car with a shifter. I'm going to put the shifter on the floorboard. Same exact setup as my car, except for this will probably have a turbo LS in it. And I'm just going to do that so that I can get round practice for my car, because the wear and tear is so aggressive with the big cars that you really don't get to practice. And these guys are killers, man. Half the class has Knapsinger power glides in their cars, and you just can't touch them. They're out there cutting 00 lights, and I'm trying to lift my big-ass leg off the pedal, you know? So I figure if we get a little practice in a bracket car, it might work out well for us.
There you go.
Yeah. Can I look at that car again, Tristan? Because I had a Frameworks car in the past, and man, does it look a lot like that.
Yeah, this one's an old black car. I got it from Luis Reyes, one of the Puerto Rican guys. He's stateside now.
Oh my God, I'm gonna bring pictures with me out west, and you'll have to look at this. I have a twin to that.
Dude, it's a cool little car. It's got a B&J front box on it, a little 2-speed deal with a quick change rear end, and super simple. We're gonna keep it as simple as possible. Blow through carburetor with like a 75, 78 turbo on an LS, and stage that thing like Leroy. Just put it on the 2-step in the pre-stage and creep in, and it'll be fun, man.
You just gotta be a little bit gentler than Matt Lefevre with his turbo car.
I'm learning from afar. Matt is figuring it out, dude. There were some pieces to that puzzle that were clearly weak points, and I'll let you get into that. But we talked about it, and we kind of got some stuff figured out on that car. And, dude, when he figures that car out, it's going to be a real contender. That is a fast buggy, man. It's no joke.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right, so on to Sunday. So Sunday, we've got our Pro 1-2 car classes, Pro 1-2-3, or Pro 1-2 bike classes. We've got Top Alcohol, we have Top Eliminator, and we have, well, kind of a Fast 4 deal, but we'll get into that as well. So, and we also have juniors and peewees. So let's start off with them, Caleb.
Yes, sir. Yeah, let's start off with the juniors and peewees. So in the peewees class, super stoked. Cole Brown from the Brown Racing Camp, he got his first win. This is his first win. I think he's only been behind the wheel of this junior dragster for like 4 races or so. So in the Menace Junior Dragster, he got the win over Charlie Morrell. And, I think everybody here can attest the first win is always special. So it's going to be one that I think Cole is going to be just stoked on. I'm sure that he went to school this weekend and was like probably carrying around the plaque to every class and stuff. But kudos to him. Definitely a long time coming for him. Sister didn't do as good as him, so I'm sure he rubbed that in her face. So we did not see her in the juniors final, but we did see a couple of other ladies. We saw Autumn Carlson taking the win over Madison Gluck, and Madison Gluck, she's one of the girls out of that ALC underground camp. I swear they're multiplying because it seems like they've got more kids and more dragsters. Most of them are Fords every single race. But yeah, like I don't know what they're gonna do when all these kids grow up, because they're gonna have to figure out more trucks and trailers to take everybody to the racetrack.
That is a real problem. I can tell you that much. Let me know when they figure it out, please.
53-foot semi-trailer.
Not big enough.
Stack them on top of each other in there.
You'll find out. If you could have an 80-foot stacker, I'm pretty sure you'd find a way to fill that, Tristan.
Yeah, I'm working on that one, bud. I'm trying, man.
Okay, so let's move over to Pro 3. So another one, Tristan, that you guys had a little bit of a stake in there.
Yeah. Watermelon head. Chloe. That kid, man, I'm so proud of her. She's been the origin of that car was she got out of softball and was kind of getting bad grades, and I love her to death, man. I've known her since she was my kid's age, a baby actually when I got with Kylie. And I told her, if you get your grades up, I'll build you a car. And I, left it at that. I didn't think much about it. About 6 months later, she hands me a report card, and it's all A's and B's. I was like, well, all right then. Those words. So I took it on to myself to build like a safe car. It's a nice little car, but how cheap can I build a car? It's the most affordable car I can put together. And I think from scratch, it cost us about $7,000 to build her car, but it's got nice stuff. Willwood brakes, aluminum 9-inch center section, and all that good stuff. So we put that car together, and man, she is a tough kid, man. She'll go out there and go 2 rounds, and her only goal the next race is to go 3 rounds, and her only goal the next race is to go 4 rounds. And just about every class she put herself in this weekend, which she put herself in, she paid for her gamblers and stuff herself. She went out there and went rounds, man. She went to the semis in like every class, and then in Pro 3, got herself all the way into the finals. And one of the things she's still kind of learning is she was in the O's all weekend, cutting lights, like doing good. But one of the things she's learning is like feeling the car on the top end, because that car will go, 4 373s in a row, and then it'll just pull out a 452 out of nowhere. And I think it's just because the car is massively overtired and undergeared. And every once in a while, the track gets a little bit dry and the car actually gets to going. But she couldn't quite feel that. And to her defense, in the final, there's no way she could have gotten around that dude. He was just on his number. He ran like a 463 with a 1 on a 462 dial-in. And she went 468 with a 4 on a 469 dial-in. And man, it was just a good old straight up drag race, and she did great, man. She won back her gambling money. I was really happy for her, and she's really taken it upon herself to take care of that thing. It's really cool to see.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And Heath, to his credit too, second win of the weekend too. So I mean, that's a pretty new car to him as well, with that Slayer water pumper style buggy. So lot of cool newer rides, I think, really in the mix out there at Dome.
Yeah, Heath is a really cool dude. Same thing, just a stand-up dude. He's out there. Those people are the heart of sand drag racing, and I really respect them because they take what they have and they make something, and then they make it nice. And while they're making it nice, they make it win, and that's how we kind of all got into this, And same thing with that Alex Ogle dude. He put together a car in like 2 weeks. He bought Ernesto's old car, and
Yeah.
dude, he went rounds in that car. Like, he had a blast, and that attitude, that mentality is what keeps the sport thriving. Is put something together. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be at the track, and go have fun with it. And then then the bug is sunk. Then you'll make it. It'll end up like whiskey someday. And I'm not saying whiskey's perfect, but man, it's been 10 years of that bug. It comes at you. It's pretty cool.
Definitely.
Fantastic, man. Yeah.
Well, there's
Moving
nothing
on,
like
we'll go
winning,
to-
because when you get that feeling, it's an addiction that you just can't
Oh, yeah.
get rid of.
For sure. Moving on to Pro 2 ATV. So there's only 2 Pro ATV classes, 3 Pro cars, so we'll just kind of move up. Pro 2 ATV, first place was Craig Durning on that laydown Outlaw triple cylinder trike, and he took the win over Tyler Hanrahan. Was bummed we did not see Grandpa Bo out there. He had some family stuff and had to stay behind this weekend, but hopefully we'll see him at East versus West. Really good final between those two. Those two are both killers. I did see that final. It looked like Tyler missed a gear, or the bike jumped out of gear or something. It was kind of an odd deal. So I think Craig kind of, Craig's a bracket racer. So he looked over and like, oh, shoot, Tyler's not there. And he kind of coasted across the finish line. Easy win relatively for him there, but they definitely fought through to get to those finals.
If Craig's going to stay on the 3-wheeler, he might as well just load up Eugene and bring it out for East meets West, and I'd be happy to take that thing for a couple rounds.
Well, I know he still is working on getting either Eugene or the dragster out. I know he's waiting on some parts and trying to freshen those motors. I did talk to him, and he said, well, we'll see. We're trying. So we'll fingers crossed, because that he'll be in the mix in the car classes as well if he's got one of those machines out there.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, I always appreciate Eugene because, like Tristan said, that thing was as clean as you could ask for. I mean, always was looking good. And Craig always seemed to be going rounds and everything else in it. So, but that's good to see him in the 3-wheeler doing so well.
Oh, yeah. And he has a blast on that thing, too. So it's cool.
Yeah, dude, I got a lot of respect for Craig. He's a diehard sand drag racer. Everything he owns is that way. He's spick and span, man. Eugene's fucking 30 years old. It's an old car, it's at least.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking 30 years old. It's older than me.
It's older than that, yeah. Because his dad Alan, he ran it probably late 80s, early 90s when that Jeep was built.
Yeah.
So it's been around.
Yeah. And that car is still just as nice, dude. He's
oh yeah.
Same thing with his dragster. That thing is beautiful. Like, I'm not a dragster guy, but that is a really, really nice dragster. Really well kept. And I'm excited to see what it looks like coming back now after you got everything dialed back in.
As we did point out, this was a few races ago, the end of last year, but yeah, he did roll that car. So fixing that thing up, and it'll be back out. I'm sure it'll be pretty. My question is it going to still have the wing on it? Like, that's I don't know if he's going to take that off or not.
I always mess with the guys with wings, like the rear wings, because like airfoil wise, they don't really work until like 130. So I'm like, what are you doing? Like, come on, man. It's just weight on the car. And like,
just to look cool. It's just to look cool. Hey, sometimes the weight is good on the rear. Just
I can't say much. I am the definition of weight on the car. But
yours not on the nose though.
Yeah, dude.
See, Tristan, you just need to put a giant Top Fuel wing on whiskey, and who knows, you might be singing a different tune.
That might be good for a couple
air setups and have the air wing.
I was gonna get one of those little RC car wings and put it on the GoPro mount on the back of my injector hat.
There you go.
Just mount
That'd
the
be
wing
fun.
to the full wing to the injector hat like Don Garlic used to.
There we go.
That'd be fun. All right, moving over to Pro 2 car. We saw, again, the shadow rearing up the top of the podium. Braden Root getting his, what is that, third, fourth podium the weekend? And he did that over Jared Crawford. So Jared also up there in the mix a ton. So don't mess with those black Jeeps out there. That's for sure, whether it's Yabba Dabba Doo or DFS, because they will get you.
That's another real good grip of folks, the Crawfords. I like those guys a lot, man. Every time. They're always fun and just really cool. Really cool folks.
It was a bummer too, because Terry was out there, and I think his car was out there too. But man, he had like the flu. He was stomach flu too. So he was like, he saw me. He's like, "Stay away. I'm sick." I'm like, "All right, Terry. Like, I don't want. I'm already there with you. I don't need to get worse."
I can't blame you entirely because I definitely give him a big old hug right after he told me that.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Tristan,
come here.
see what you do.
Yeah, dude. We're glutton for punishment.
All right, moving over to Pro 1 ATV. Some weekends just work out, and it was an all Mings racing final, and my dad is such a freaking killer. He did not go easy on me. This is his second Pro 1 ATV win in a row, so he's on a hot streak, and you don't want to mess with Randy Mings when he's on a hot streak. He goes out and complains that he's 71 years old and he can't cut lights. He got no 13 light on me in that final and ran like 6 thou off his dial. So I'm like, yeah, shut up, old man. Like,
He's anything like my dad said the same thing all last year, and he ends up with a points title. So
exactly. So, and same with my dad. He had the points championship last year. So he's trying to defend that title, and he doesn't care if he has to go through Kin in order to do that. So I was just stoked to be in the final. Sunday, we finally started getting the bike kind of working a little bit better. But, I gave it all that I had against him. I had, like an 050 something light, and definitely was not as close to the dial, but I mean, I was running him down and just couldn't catch him.
I will say I did get to watch that pass from the starter box. Roughly, I was probably 100 feet behind it, and it was really cool. I mean, it's always cool watching father and son race, but both of you guys were wheeling those things, man. You guys, that black bike you have, I love that bike. Not because it has root beer brown wheels. That's completely impartial. But I love that bike, dude. It's such a good-looking bike, and you're so proportionate on it. Like, it just looks so right for what you're doing. And, man, it's just cool to watch. You guys really are on the ball with those bikes. Like, you both cut O lights. And in my book, being a clutch guy, if you're in the O's, okay, cool. You did good. And I don't know. It's just cool, man. It's cool to watch.
Definitely. And like you said, it's always fun doing those father and son finals. So, like, we're always stoked when we get there, because bottom line, doesn't matter who won, because like if I win, cool, I won, dad got second. But if I lost, my dad still won. Like, I'm stoked. So we're hoping we can repeat for East versus West.
He doesn't rub it in if he beats you.
Not too bad. I mean, maybe we'll see. I need to start keeping track of our win-loss record against each other. I keep saying that I'm going to do it, and then I don't really keep up with it. He probably is up on me a couple of times here now, but don't.
I only had the pleasure of running my dad like 2 times, and he kicked my butt both times, so I gave up.
I guess I'm lucky. Me and my dad have had the chance to race 5 separate times.
What's your win loss record right there, Damian?
It's either, I want to say it's 3-2.
3-2. Are you up on him, or is he up on you? You're up. Ooh, okay. So the big head's going to you then. Okay.
Well, one of those I don't really count because we were both in borrowed cars, and the one he was in, the torque converter gave up when he let go of the button.
Ooh, that sucks.
I've had the chance to race.
Well, we don't have that.
But I'm not going to say who won and lost. That's stir the pot. I'll let Caleb say that because he knows. But
we gotta treat the agent experience nicely so that they keep racing.
Until the helmet's on. I'm coming for you, old man.
So So that was Pro 1 ATV. Pro 1, we saw Jeffrey Callis. We always like to joke that Jeffrey was in Tata Garcia's Jeep, so we call him Tata Jr. Because he sits pretty low in that Jeep. So we joke that he needs a booster seat to see over the dash. And you go look at the winter photo of it. It's pretty bad. They also Alex, he took a photo of him when he was kind of slouched in the staging lanes, and it was just like you just barely see the top of his head. It was really funny. But yeah, so he was in there, borrowed car. Not borrowed. I mean, he's run that car before. And he took the win over Sam Atkins, also from that ALC Underground camp. So they're always up there in the mix, and the ghost, as they call that Jeep, just had a little too much gusto.
Yeah. All right. So on to top eliminator and top alcohol. So Caleb, do you have any of the qualifying sheets on that?
Yeah.
You know who are
okay.
number
So
one
this is kind of insane, guys. So top eliminator. If anybody from the East Coast is not thinking that they should be scared, well, the top 5 were 3 thou apart, and then the top 7 were only 100th. We had 6 cars that were 259 or better in eliminations. 2 of them running 295.0 dead on with Tommy Zavala and Jim Nafziger. So it was a super, super tight field. Tristan would have been number 18 if he had not gone and blown his car up on Friday tested tune.
Hey, man, sometimes you're the bug and sometimes you're the windshield.
Well put.
I felt bad for my buddies in the class because I am usually pretty good. I'm usually in there somewhere, and man, the only way I can explain it, and I really don't know if it makes sense yet either because I'm learning it. But the whole screw blower thing was a learning opportunity. The way I looked at it, I want to learn it and figure it out. And the best way I can describe it is a roots blower, 1471, 671, whatever. They make manifold pressure. So if you were using water as air, you had the blower off the car, and you're taking a 5-gallon bucket, a roots blower pours the water into the manifold. And it's pretty steady and consistent. A screw blower makes case pressure against the screws. So when you say you cram 26 pounds of air in a manifold, the roots blower, it's kind of a steady to a plateau. A screw blower just takes that whole 5-gallon bucket, puts all the water in it, and then shoves it in the manifold. So you get a really aggressive lean curve right at the hit, which I did not know or account for. And well, it wasn't good. I knocked the blower off of it pretty quick. Learning a lot, and really the 2 dudes I talk to a lot is Jimmy DePass, because we have like the identical twin motor now, and Joe Betancourt. And so I got both ends of the spectrum here, literally. Jimmy has never ran a computer, and he knows how to make the car work mechanically, which is what I favor. But I am really trying hard to get into the world of computers and like race pack stuff. And so that's a daunting task. But I talked to Joe. He got me kind of lined out what I need to get for my car. And there's a good chance you'll probably see Joe involved with that car somewhere or another once I have that computer stuff. And in the meantime, we're going to try to figure it out mechanically and then improve upon it with the race pack and EGTs, input shaft sensors, drive shaft sensors, all that good stuff, flow sensors. We're just trying to improve the car and get a better, well-rounded education so that we can provide the same thing. Yeah, I felt terrible for my peers in top eliminator because, man, Texas came in and cleaned house, man. And I was like, fuck, I wish I would have gotten in there and at least tried. But it was a matter of going back out there and knocking the blower off of it again if we guessed or knowing. And, I'm not too keen on knocking blowers off cars. I've only done that twice in 10 years. And I know that's part of the program, but I don't like hurting parts. I like to stay safe and be consistent,
Yeah. So, and then as you're kind of alluding there, Tristan, the rest of your triple threat team, you guys had some issues and stuff with cars too. So, what happened with Kylie's car? And then we see Mikey kind of walking back and forth behind you there, but he
Yeah, we'll
debuted
drag
his
him.
new Eliminator buggy, Tunnel Vision. So, what happened with those two machines?
So with Kylie's car, we borrowed a customer's motor, and he told us to put it in the car. Kylie's car, I was putting her 50 or 540 together. It's actually right over there somewhere. And I tried a different rod. I got a set of CP Carrillo rods, and they're gorgeous. They're so nice. It's got CP piston, CP Carrillo. They've jumped on board with us. They are stand-up folks, but part of the deal is it's kind of an R&D system. These are a newer aluminum rod, and that thing's got a huge stroke. So we put it all together, and the counterweight on the crankshaft hit the chamfer where the rod comes out to the wrist pin. I mean, they just touch, but it's enough to be an issue. So we realized that like Monday night, car wasn't going to make it. Customer was like, fuck that, we're going racing, a different bus. So we put the motor in the car, went out there, gave it a real mellow tune-up. I fattened everything up, went a little lazier on the timing than I usually do, and just wanted to get a good A to B. And to Kylie's credit, I told her, it's a brand new motor, it's a brand new combination. Let's just go out there, and if you hear anything weird, get out of it. Like, shut it down half track. I don't care. Let's just kind of, look at the spark plug. And again, alluding to the fact that we need to get computers on the car because we're running on the 70s tune-up here, and that's just not, the 1970s. So she did her job, dude. She went out there, the car laid over, she lifted, shut the car off, and what we come to find, we had it down to short block that night. The motor is super nice, but the head gaskets didn't appear to be O-ringed, and the heads aren't ringed, and the block's not receiver grooved. So that's a problem. When you make 30 pounds of boost, it just yeets the head gaskets right out of it. And that's what it did. It has a 1/0 ground cable that runs from head to head and then over to the block or over to the motor mount. And when that head gasket came out of there, it damn near cut that 1/0 cable in half. It really kicked it out of there.
Whoa.
So one of the things was that motor's got 70,000 head gaskets in it. And I had a set of 40,000 in the trailer. And I was like, I'm going to have to lash these valves a lot to get it to clear comfortably, So rather than hurting a brand new motor, it's a really nice 509. We just figured, you know what? We'll get the heads ringed. They're already off the motor. Put this thing back together the way it came, and it'll be a really nice motor. It'll run every bit of 295. So we parked her car, and then Mikey's car, first time ever down the track, I drove it, and I lifted about 6 cones before the finish line, and it went 314. And we were like, all right, that's awesome.
Yeah.
One of the things we didn't notice when we put it together was the pilot bearing sits in the back of the crank, and the input shaft runs from the transmission through a candlestick that holds the bearing that engages the clutch. And it goes through the floaters and into this pilot bearing, kind of sits in there and just rides on it. And we tapped that pilot bearing in, put it all together, went together nicely. About Mikey's 4th licensing pass, I was really on it with him with like, the car's so fast, I wanted him to really be comfortable and really understand it. So he made 2 60-foot hits, and then he made 2 half-track hits. And on that last half-track hit, when they towed it back up, he was like, dude, the clutch was dragging really bad. So what we figured out was that input shaft worked out of the pilot bearing and vibrated deeper into the crank. And that pilot bearing the input shaft got out of that bearing and worked that clutch a little bit. Ooh. And it looked so crazy. The candlestick looked like you stuck a exhaust pipe expander in it and like beveled the edge where the throwout bearing wouldn't slide on it anymore. So nobody had I think we were the only clutch cars in TE, and my stuff wouldn't work in his car because my clutch can's deeper. And so we needed to put a bushing or something behind that pilot bearing and then put a new candlestick in the car. And rather than trying to hokey stuff together at the racetrack, we're like, we got a car that runs 80s here. Like, we're good. This is a brand new car. Mike's getting comfortable in it. Like, let's just go spend $300 instead of $3,000 hurting something and East versus West, that car is going to be a ripper. It's a really, really comfortable car. I couldn't believe it ran a 314, dude. It felt like a 350. It was so smooth. So trial and error.
Might I also add that's Mikey's fifth pass ever in any race car?
Yeah, we put him in Kylie's car one race just for a couple exhibition passes at night. But what we didn't realize, he had his wrist restraints on, and Kylie is really small, so she's got her shifter right between the seats, and everything's really tight. Well, with Mike in the car, he would put the car in first gear, and then his wrist restraint would get caught on the shifter and pull it into second when he reached up to hit the trans brake. And the trans brake doesn't work on that transmission yet in second. So every time he staged the car, it just blew through the lights when he hit the throttle. And we did that like twice. And on the third pass, I was like, just flat foot it, a 60-foot lift and, whatever. And he did, and it went like a 370. So he's got like super minimal time in the car. And for a new driver, he's picking it up really quick. It's pretty cool to watch, man.
Definitely. So as we continue on to eliminations there, actually, there's one other fun parts breakage story I want to talk about. It was another buggy guy, Matt Lefevre, with his twin turbocharged LSX. He went and decided that he wanted a Bluetooth drive shaft.
Oh,
A couple times.
Been there, done that.
But we got a nice photo of it on Saturday, the second time that he broke it. But he went and got a new drive shaft made in Yuma, and as far as I could tell, he was good to go with that one. So I don't know if they just made a stronger one, or they changed geometry on it, or what they did. But that one held together. Unfortunately, first round for him. He's got that turbo car, and it's violent when it bumps in. Violent, and just shook enough to where kind of as it was going and bumping in, it rolled back out just enough when it was kind of shaking still when the tree dropped, and he red lit. So did not get time on that and everything. But as Tristan was saying earlier, like, man, when he gets that buggy figured out, people need to be on notice, because that thing is a strong running buggy when he gets it going.
Wow. Nice.
And I will say, on the new buggy and broken buggy topic here, Mike's standing next to me, and he really doesn't want to be social, and I'm thinking he needs to be social, because I need to grab him another beer. And you guys can hit him with a bunch of questions if you want. Over, dude.
Hey guys, how's
There
it
he
going?
is.
Oh, Mikey.
So, Mikey, I know we were talking about, kind of your new driver experience and stuff. And obviously, Tristan said you'd made some passes in Kylie's car. Now, the one thing we didn't talk about is comparative to Kylie's car. What's that launch like in your buggy versus hers?
3-year-old World War II veteran or a permanently crippled hero helicopter pilot who were both injured.
I don't know. To be honest with you, hers was such like a thrown into that, and I didn't really have time to process it, so I don't really remember on how hard that hit. But mine, I feel like hits pretty hard, and I don't know. It's fun. I'm ready to make a full pass once we get it fixed. I'm ready for that.
Definitely. Yeah, that's gonna be exciting. And like Tristan said, looking at the first pass that he made in that car, man, it looks smooth. So I'm excited.
So his car is 169-inch wheelbase for reasons very obvious, and it's so different than mine. Like, my car has gotten pretty smooth over the years now, but it's still violent. Like, it's a big wheelie, and you can really feel the car working. And Mikey's car, it feels like the car will go 260s before it ever feels like mine does at 290s. Like, it's so smooth. And so, like, it just felt like a Sunday drive, dude. It was so effortless. Like, it didn't give a shit. It was weird. So smooth.
Moving on to, I know you were saying some Team Texas boys. I know probably the rest of the crew here, you guys don't get to see the Texas guys because they like to stick a little bit more, not quite West Coast.
They like to stay west of the Mississippi.
West of the Mississippi. There we go. But
they came to Brookville
man,
once there a couple years ago, took the money and ran.
did they really? Well, you know what? Kind
They
of
got
the
a
same
habit of
thing
doing
happened
that.
here. Because if you were looking at the ladders, the semifinals, there's 4 cars, and all of them happen to be from Team Texas. So they had all 3 Shoals and their bud Curtis Grady. They made up all semifinals there, and
That's
went
pretty
down
cool.
to.
Yeah.
Do you guys know the relationship? Is Wyatt Wade's brother,
I think so.
uncle, brother? Okay.
I think it's his. I
So-
think it's Wade's brother, and then Pruitt's obviously Wade's son.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna go by that. And Wyatt, I'm sorry if we're getting that wrong, but it was an uncle and nephew final, and Wyatt actually took the win there. And I believe that's Wyatt's first time at Dome. We've had Wade and Pruitt out there a few times, and they have done very well. Taken the money many times, like Damian was saying when they went to Brookville. I didn't know that they'd been to Brookville, so that's pretty cool. I'm sure that was a fun trip for them. But yeah, Wade was in there in the semis along with Curtis, and they had us couldn't have had a better weekend. All 4 cars in the semis, and then White taking the win over Pruitt.
Yep.
So if those boys are west of the Mississippi, are you calling them West Coast racers?
That is the great debate.
No,
that is the great debate.
No, you don't get to claim all that.
They get grouped in with the Puerto Ricans if they show up.
Puerto Rico
Damian,
is very East Coast now, Damian. They're very East Coast.
That's true.
Oh,
Yeah, you
we're
guys
talking
do
like
have them.
parallel with Florida. So
brutal.
all right, so that was top eliminator, and then in top alcohol, this we'll give a little brief overview, and then this gets into one of our first like big dramas of the weekend. So top alcohol, we didn't really have any of the major heavy hitters in the top alcohol class out this weekend, but we see a lot of the top eliminator guys, double entering. Tristan, you've been one of those in the past, and sometimes we don't see quite the ETs that we're used to in top alcohol, but it's cool to see the TE guys in the mix when they turn it up a little bit.
Yeah, you can expect to see that probably a little more out of me. It just depends on turnaround time. When it was just my car, it was really doable, but there's a grip of them now. So if I can do it, I will. Yeah, I think my car will probably tickle 60s once we get it right, which will be cool. But
what's that record you're gunning for?
279 with a 2. So they're coming in March, as far as I understand it. I don't know what kind of witchcraft they got worked together, but I'm brewing my own too. So it'll be a good time, man. They're all good old boys. They're fun. So we're gonna go to war. It's gonna be fun. And then the alcohol thing is cool, man. It's a fun back and forth. We've gone rounds in that class, but like you said, it's you get lucky, if someone breaks or if not a lot of real fast cars show up. But you put my car up against Hammond any day of the week, broken or not, and he's going to make an example out of me. I'm telling you now.
For sure. So with none of those heavy hitters there, number one qualifier was Jim Nafziger. So he goes 295.0 in top eliminator, and then he's number 1 in alcohol with a 280 with a 3. Closely behind was Tommy Zabala, 282.2. And then we saw a few of our regular, top eliminator cars that don't quite have the gusto. Eric Brown at 291.4, Mike Brockett at 292.9, Eric Hickey with the altered with a 302.8, and unfortunately he ended up having some issues, couldn't compete in either top eliminator or top alcohol on Sunday. And then our number 6 qualifier caused a little bit of drama here. Greg Johnson, which if you're a West Coast racer, you don't associate Greg Johnson with top alcohol because he's normally a fast 4 car. And I don't know, Tristan, I'm going to throw this to you. What do you feel about turbocharged 4 cylinders running top alcohol?
Well, I want to preface all the drama by just saying I love all those guys. I love them to death, and I really don't like to see mom and dad fighting. You know what I mean? I'm not there to fight, man. You get in your feelings, the adrenaline's high, and I get it. But the best thing you can do is just go back to camp and get your shit together, and maybe then talk about it. But don't say it in the heat of the moment. That's a bad deal, and I think that a lot of that happened this weekend. I've talked to all of them. I think they're all a little remorseful of it, and I think that we're all a family, and we need to continue racing together and put our bullshit aside, to say it lightly. But I don't really care if Greg's an alcohol dude. That the only thing I associate Greg with is being a bad dude. That car is fast, man, and if you're going off of NHRA's rule book, NHRA does specifically say no turbo and top alcohol, but we're not. We're going off of whatever rule book. I think it's your guys's, or SoCal Sand Drags, or Dome Valleys, and none of those.
As I say, what is the actual rule? Is
Unlimited.
there actually a rule?
As far as I know, it's unlimited combination. You have to run alcohol.
Yeah.
And Greg Johnson fits in there.
And he's keeping that four-banger together doing that, man. That is fucking feat.
So put an aircraft engine in the back of your dragster. Go for it.
Yeah. As far as I know, there's no rule other than that. And if there were rules like that, I'm sure that I wouldn't even be allowed to run a buggy. So
let me ask you this. Do you think it's better for the top alcohol class to allow them in there to beef up the class?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, so the way I look at it is I've talked to the Pro Mod guys a couple times, just with kind of where I'm headed, and they're a little bit more in my ballpark for tune-up, where I'm going to be running. And none of those guys have said anything about me running Pro Mod. And I told them straight up, like, if I win, second place can take the win. I don't care, but I want to race. And Pro Mod specifically, short wheelbase, motor in the front, all this shit. And all those guys are like, dude, we don't care. We want to race people. And that's the way I look at it. I want to race people. That's what I really love about Top Eliminator is I can line up against Damon Hall, my wife, Tommy Zavala, Cody Hoffman. Not a single combination is the same, and they're all just as fast. Like, there's not a single person in that class that I roll up next to, and I'm like, well, I got him. They're all killers, man. And I think that the liveliness of alcohol kind of depends on that. And, if Greg's got the car. I got no problem with that personally. Now, I do understand in the heat of the moment how that could get to you. I love Jim Nassinger. Like, I love him to death, man. I talk to him every week, at least. And I understand where he was coming from, but I think it was just it just snuck up on him a little bit, and that kind of pissed him off. And like I said, you're in the heat of the moment. You say what you didn't mean, and like I said, I talked to him this week, and he's like, yeah, it's all good. I was just a little upset at the time, but it's not anything that he's holding. He's not begrudging him or anything. It's all good. It just was miscommunication on all parts, I think, and there's no reason why we should be ruffling our feathers over it. You know what I mean?
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Tristan. I mean, to give you guys context with that, I think you're right. The issue came down to, I think that Jim and the whole Yabba Dabba Doo crew and everything, I think they're a little bit blindsided because they're like, all right, cool, we got a number one qualifier here. Like, we're looking up to kick butt on Sunday, and here comes Greg. Him and Mario, Mario's been helping them out there tune that car. They've been trying a lot of new stuff with it. They are methanol only, so there's a lot of people out there thinking that they're running a percentage of nitro, and they're like, nope, it's all straight methanol. They toyed with the idea, like, hey, we should enter alcohol, and they snuck in there in the fourth session, did not have a great pass. They were running 260s the whole weekend. And something like go with this. Greg, I'm sure, told me at one point what it was specifically on that pass because they had multiple things go wrong with it, and only managed a 304 in that fourth session, and that lined him up against Jim first round. I think Jim was thinking that they were coming in, they were going to have a bye, and all of a sudden they've got this turboed four-cylinder lineup, and they're like, what the heck's going on here? And
so what I talked to Greg about it. He waved me in when I was pulling Vicky back up. I was out, so I was just helping people in the class. And it was a V-band style clamp It's not a V-band clamp, but it's one of those super nice like Motion Raceworks clamps.
Mm-hmm.
And something was wrong with it. It was getting loose on the hot side of the piping, and that was his issue. I told him to talk to Matt. I was like, "Oh, turbo guy," but I guess it was different. That was their big issue. But and I like you said, I totally get it with Nafsinger. I understand the frustration. He was under the impression that he was in a certain position, and then that position was changed. But as a track promoter, I do see the other side of it. There was a 1A fuel car. What
Yeah.
kind of a show is that? It's like, okay, well, this race we didn't have some good heavy hitters like we normally do. The King family wasn't there, and Jordan didn't make it out. So I was like, okay, well, let's make a class, and put on a race. And I personally wouldn't have had a problem with that. I mean, I would have gotten my ass handed to me for sure. But that's racing, man. He's got the better car, and in alcohol, it's unlimited. There's no index you're racing against. So it's like, okay, who's got the better tune and
Right.
the more money and the nicer car? It's truth of the matter there.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see the 4-cylinder guys jumping into like top Eliminator and top alcohol, and kind of, no offense to the A fuel class, but it's been kind of a dead soldier for a few years now, and it's, will it ever be back? Could it be back? Maybe, but right now I don't see it. So it's like they kind of need to split hairs and go a different direction. I don't know.
I think it's kind of fell victim to the same thing like the ATV world has, where it's been pushed to such an extreme. So many people going for that A fuel record that to be competitive, it's such an expensive car to where it's so much
Yeah, you
easier
go
just to run
broke.
top eliminator or top alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I do
And
see
look
it.
how-
I think there's a window for something cool there. I don't know. I've talked to a couple track promoters about it, and it hasn't gained a lot of traction yet. But you're right. That kills the fun for me, for sure. Is I don't run blown alcohol because at the end of the day, it's who has more money. I mean, who's more willing to break their stuff and run a 30 something, And to be honest with you, I'm just not quite privy to that. I'd rather run 295, and I'll probably always be in top eliminator as much as I'm going to set that record, but I'm going to slow the car down afterwards. But if they came out with something like they did back in the day, I think in today's day and age with today's technology, if you had a 285 or a 275 index class, you'd see a lot of cars in that class.
But wouldn't you start breaking up 295 though? Wouldn't you start taking the guys down to 295, and then you start
Well,
doing
It's
that whole
double-edged
A fuel
sword.
thing again?
I've thought about that too, man. And one of the things I've always considered is, it would be, I don't know what it would do to the bracket class, and maybe you guys got some insight on this, but say you're going to run top eliminator and top alcohol at 2:00 and 5:00. Okay, run, let's just call it super eliminator for bullshit's sake. Run super eliminator at 3:30 so that the eliminator guys can get back, turn their car around, come back up and run. And then they can run eliminator and run an hour and a half after in that other class. And it would do, for the crowd at least, it would keep even keel program of fast cars in their face. But on the bracket side of things, I don't know what that would do to the track for you guys. And that's always been my concern.
We run a constant rotation all the way around. And when it gets into competition, there still are, we kind of set times for the TE, X amount of time kind of during competition. But for the most part, it's kind of run as the round goes around.
Yeah.
But it would be nice, like what you're saying, is to split it up so that your top eliminator guys would have enough time to make the changeover to run top alcohol. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah. And
Yeah.
like, I'm talking out my ass, man. I'm just a driver. But
It's such a double-edged sword for a lot of people.
yeah,
Is what I would think. It's like, yeah, it'd be great to have another faster index for people to gun after, or a lot of people to go after top alcohol. But at the same time, like John's saying, you're also, how many people are willing to change back and forth, like you guys do, like Tommy Zavala, like so many others do.
Or just choose one or the other. I mean, actually, John, you guys have it in Michigan. You guys have kind of something like that. It's not a quicker index. It's a little bit slower, the 325. And,
that's right.
That it's a cool class for Michigan, especially because, it's a sandier track. So it's a little bit, harder.
But you know what happened? Here's what happened. All the guys that used to tried to run 295, have
Exactly.
backpedaled and ran into 325, and now we don't really have a consistent 3 or 295 class.
Yeah,
So
that's where I think
that's
Damian's
what
getting
I'm
at. It's like,
afraid would happen with your situation.
and to be honest, like
Yeah.
Tristan, I know we out west had that super eliminator class for a little bit, which was a 280 index, I believe.
Yes.
And I think something kind of similar happened with that. Is we had some people where they're like, well, shoot, they're not going to go and run both. They'll pick or choose. And the idea of it makes a lot of sense. It's like, hey, we'll get some blown alcohol guys to slow down a little bit, and then we'll get some top limiter guys to, speed up a little bit. But it does have that potential to go and just split the one class that you have that is successful, because top limiter is successful across the US,
is.
which I think is really cool about it.
It would be much different if we were still getting 16 cars that are running right on that dial, and then the rest of the field is a tenth, 3/10 off, or breaking out consistently. I think that'd be a bit different. But the fact that we have races all across this country, 8, 16, 18, 19, 24 different cars all running within a tenth and a half of the index race to race, it's really hard to look at splitting it up.
It's
Yeah,
impressive.
I think you'd have to approach it with, and everything starts small. So if you were going to do that, I would really love to hear what AJ has to say about all this, because he seems to be really open to, stuff like that. But we've tossed it around here and there drinking beer, and I think that it would be something where,
Hey, Tristan.
when I say starting, yeah.
What if you guys did it like on a Saturday night class so it don't interrupt your top eliminator and top alcohol on Sunday?
That's where I was kind of going with it. You could start there,
Okay.
and you could go to the racers and be like, hey, if we don't get 8 cars, we're not doing the class. So how many of you guys are down to do this? And then it kind of goes by, popularity. Is this good? Is it worth it? If not, all right, then it was worth a shot, but whatever. But
Exactly.
it would have to be kind of a trial run, and if it takes off, cool. Then if it doesn't, then no big deal. But I'd put all my cars in it. They'll all run in that neck of the woods.
There's definitely a gap there somewhere in the modern era of sand drags between top eliminator and then the upper echelons of pro mod, top alcohol, and the quicker A fuel cars that are still out there. It's just you're spending so much money trying to go 60s or better, and those classes are dwindling down a lot. So I get the mindset for it. It's just a matter of, is there a place there where we can bring people together and keep the cost down. I think that's the main thing with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make racing great again.
Let's get into some results here. We've been dodging around the whole thing here, but obviously we said our piece on the A fuel car in alcohol deal. I think I personally thought it was cool.
I love it.
I would have loved to have seen them jump in sooner with one of those 60 passes, and then maybe we wouldn't have had the big blow up between Greg and Jim on that and stuff. And they went against each other first round, and Jim got beat because Greg fixed the issue enough to make a another 60 pass there. It was a quick round. Jim ran his best of the weekend. He ran like a 78, I think, and that probably would have beat anybody else in top alcohol that was running the class. But as you were talking about, Tristan, it doesn't always work out to who's the fastest, because it was Greg Johnson and Tommy Zavala in the final, and Tommy got the win over Greg. They had issues rear their head again and just blew through the lights, red lit, and Tommy didn't even have a good pass. He went out there and hurt something, I think, about 60, 100 foot, but he got the top alcohol win over Greg.
Yeah, that was I watched that pass, and I felt bad for both the guys because Tommy's got something going on. I was just talking to Tommy today. We kind of got the same thing going on. We don't know. Well, we got to figure it out. And Greg, I don't know what happened, but I've done this before. He got in there and got his pre-stage, his stage, and before Tommy even kicked on his stage, he was on the two-step. And when you're on that two-step, dude, it feels like years. It feels like forever. And I think it just got to him. And when Tommy kicked on his stage, it was like, I gotta go, and he took off. But,
he was saying that they had some issues and stuff. That same clamp was rearing its head, and he said they were having some oil pressure issues, and he was having lights on his dash flashing, just very distracted. So I don't know how much of it was that. He definitely got on the two-step pretty early, so I don't know if it just kind of pulled through the clutch on that car or what have you, but it it bit him for sure.
Yeah, and I couldn't get a hold of Tommy for like 2 weeks before the race. That guy was sick, man, like really sick, and he broke his phone. And I was standing in the tower with Chloe, and he walks up, and I was like, man, you come back from the dead and just win. Like, how'd you do that? He's like, I don't even know, man. I don't know.
So, congrats to Tommy there. Unfortunately, did not do as well in the top eliminator ranks. But another point of drama that happened was, we talked about we had a lot of these competitors double entering between top alcohol and top eliminator. And guy that was actually running against Tommy in the first round of alcohol was Eric Brown, or excuse me, round 2 of top alcohol. Tommy and Eric Brown face up against each other. And, Eric was trying to run in the class. He's done this before, probably more so just as a points mix up, disruptor against some of those heavy hitters that we were talking about. And he went out there, lost to Tommy, but end of that round, he gets across the finish line. He's trying to slow that car down and realizes he doesn't have any brakes. So he gets to the top end, gets it stopped safely. But he's like, well, shoot, I, have to go run top eliminator next. There's a few rounds and stuff, but I have 0 brakes. I need to get this fixed. And to kind of give a 1,000-foot overview, they communicated that to the track and said, hey, we're fixing an issue with the brakes. We intend to make that round. Everything is fine with the motor. We just need to go and replace the brake system and get that fixed. Communicated that to the track staff, and it came down to he was scheduled to run against Curtis Grady. We went through and ran the rest of the top alcohol passes for round 2, went into top eliminator, ran passes up until he was scheduled, which was second to last pair, and got down. We had 10 minutes of dead air on the track. They were waiting on him. Curtis was already in the car, suited up and ready to go. And, they were trying to communicate that they were close. But at one point, got to go on with the show. And they sent Curtis out. And it was right after that Eric Brown pulled up and said, hey, sorry, you're disqualified. And he was not happy about that. So our second blow up occurred with that, and words were said between both him and Esteban, and don't know where that sits right now, but not a fun time as you were saying, Tristan. Don't like it when mom and dad are fighting.
Yeah, we had TTM on both ends of that deal. That was a bad deal, man. So I was in the lanes with Don and Chloe, and Mikey was taking his car apart to put the parts in Eric's car. So Mike's with him, and I'm up top, and I don't shoot the messenger because I don't really understand what transpired there entirely. But from what I gathered, it was time to go. And, if it was me, I would have just called it. And to Eric's credit, that guy is the most competitive dude I've ever met in my entire life. And he's one of my favorite people. Like, every time I go to the racetrack, him and his wife and his kids, my kids are their best buddies. Watch my kids half the race, dude. They're my favorite people. Like, I love them to death. And the whole thing breaks my heart, man, because it just went bad in the worst way it could have. I was across from the eliminator lanes, and I walked over and asked Esteban, I was like, do you want us to just make like an exhibition pass or something while the track's dead? Like, we were trying to figure out Don's car. It had a faulty ignition box, and we just put one in it. So we were like, hey, we'll make a hit, and he's like, well, it's just going to dirty the track, and this guy's sitting in his car waiting. I don't want to be disrespectful. And I was like, that's cool. I get it. So I don't know what transpired on the Texas side. they all seem like really stand-up, friendly folks, and I don't see how they would ever, put any bad on anybody. But I do understand they drove a long fucking way to sit in a race car and wait for somebody, and I respect that. So from what I gathered, it was they drove a long way to wait around, and they needed to put a time on it, respectfully. I get that. And it came down to, I think it was a 5-minute timer. And that timer went off. They started their car, and as they were pulling out on the racetrack, I see Mike sprinting and Eric Brown around the corner. And it's like, oh boy, here we go. This ain't good, So
yeah, you knew that was coming.
Dude, it was ugly. And it sucks, man. It's like you said, you don't want to see mom and dad fighting. And I didn't. So I went over and gave Eric Brown and his wife a hug, and I said, hey, don't say anything you don't mean right now. You're in your fucking, you have a lot of adrenaline, and I've been there. I've said some stuff before that I really regret, and I think they both did. Now, where they go from here will define what kind of men they are, but I really hope for a good outcome on it because I really like both of them. I like Esteban and I like Eric, and I don't want to see them fighting, man. I'd like to see them back out at the racetrack again, and just again, apologize to French, but cut the shit, man. We're out trying to race. We're not a very big sport, and if Eric Brown does what I think he'll end up doing, you'll see something really fast out of him if he comes back, which will be cool. But I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to come out of it, and it makes me sick because I don't like to see people fighting like that. They're all our family. I mean, I've never met Isaac or John, and you guys are my family. Like, we're sand drag racers, and that means a lot to me, and there ain't a lot of it. So I am really, really hoping that those guys can work it out, because if they don't, what does that set for the future for the rest of us, And so hopefully that'll come into fruition, and they can kiss and make up and hopefully not catch a cold like I did from Caleb.
Oh, now that's the way to tie it all together. I love it.
That was perfect.
Well, and I will say this too. That whole situation, like, it sucks because I really think all the heated, motion stuff with that, they were scrambling to get. I didn't realize they actually were getting the brake system off of Mikey's car, but I knew that they were replacing stuff, and I've been there where you're thrashing trying to make the next round, and knowing that people can't wait forever on you, and I think it really sucks that it was like right as they were pulling up there that was when time was up, but. I think one thing to learn about this too is that, unlike with the top alcohol thing where it's written down, in the class rules there, unlimited engine, alcohol only. I don't think the Dome had a written policy on what their, parts breakage, waiting time for between rounds or whatever, for that situation. I don't think they had something like that. And this is, PSA to all track promoters. Think about stuff like this. And it might not be, somebody's broke. It might be a double entry thing. I know, Damian, you guys have things with, double entering with cars and stuff. I think every track needs to have their policies written down so that,
very true.
This is what we go by, and then all the racers know that's what goes, and then that way you don't get yourself in a sticky situation because you're just saying, hey, look, we're just sticking to the policy, and then that takes some kind of the favoritism talks and all that stuff out of it.
On that, like Caleb and I were talking this week, I got some stuff we'll go over with the drivers being in East meets West, and we are going to address the time issue. Like, you're going to be on a clock. It's going to be like a 2-minute clock. And once you're put on that clock, that's it. There's no guessing.
Yeah.
There's
And
no gray area
on
who's fighting
some people,
and who's not fighting.
I think we've all...
It's get your car here or not.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think we've all raced with organizations that have been sticklers for rules like that. And, you might think that they're kind of being dicks about it, but at least, there's something down there where you're like, hey, that's the expectation. And
it would have prevented a fight in this situation. It would have prevented a bad situation that happened at that track. If they would have had something in stone, nobody could argue it.
And I'll say I'm as guilty as the next. I think Dome Valley has put themselves in a slightly unique situation. To their credit, they are so poignant. They have such a well-run deal there that it took me a while to get used to it, to be honest with you. And this isn't to bash the other racetracks on the West Coast, but there's been a lot of times on the West Coast that I sat in my car in my suit for 45 minutes waiting for the lights to get fixed or waiting for something. You're usually waiting. So you get acclimated to that and you kind of work to that. And if I show up 30 minutes late, I'm probably going to be on time, which is okay. You learn how to work with that. Now, Don Valley doesn't work that way. If you show up 30 minutes late, they're running the next class. Like, you're done. If they're nice enough, gracious enough to let you run, then you get to run. But it is like on time, man. And so much to almost a fault on the drivers now, because it's like, I'll wait as long as I need to wait because I feel like I really have the best car. And if I'm going rounds and I got to wait on someone, I will wait on you and put you on the trailer. Like that's kind of the point, And so it comes down to two factors, what's the racetrack got going on? Do they have time to wait on you? And what's their fallback plan? If they don't have time to wait on you, then maybe they should have a fallback plan to run around bikes or run around the semifinals of Pro 3 or whatever, but
Very
something
true.
Fall back on if the other driver's cool with it. Now, if the other driver isn't cool with it, then I'm not saying that was the case, but I am saying that's not very cool because, like I said, I'm here to race you. And if you are my guy, then I'm your Huckleberry. I'm going to wait on you and I'm going to race you. And if you put me on the trailer, you're the better man, but I'm going to do everything in my possibility to put you on the trailer. So, it comes down to two factors: the driver that you're racing and the racetrack. And the other thing to add to this that I think a lot of people are overseeing, because I put myself in the same position a lot. Esteban is 25, 26 years old, and he's doing more than I'd say just about any other 25, 26-year-old I've ever met. And I put myself in those positions when I was that age, and it is hard to process it. It's hard to deal with it, and you got to give him some grace. I'm not saying that he needs that, but I do say that, most of these guys that are running these racetracks are pretty well-established dudes. And again, not to say Esteban isn't, but man, that's a huge undertaking he's doing. That's a lot of stress on them.
It's an unforgiving job.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
And all it takes is one smart-ass remark to make him go off.
Yeah.
And I speak from experience. I'm not saying that to discredit him, but I did the same thing, dude. When I started working and kind of running my family business, we went from 3 excavators to like 10. And man, it's so stressful. You're not winning in any way other than it looks good to the public, but you're really not making any more money because the quality control goes downhill because you're so strung out trying to keep up. And it's growing pains, we all have growing pains, and Dillon Valley grew like crazy. I remember doing test and tune sessions where there weren't even races there like 4 years ago. And he's really done a lot for that racetrack, but man, does it weigh on you. And I think that there needs to be a little bit of understood leniency with that. Like, he's going to be a little snippy and he's going to be a little bit stressed out, because if it came out of Bucky's mouth, you would have tolerated it, but it comes out of a 25-year-old's mouth and you're like, well, you're an asshole. Well, he ain't, man. He's just stressed. It's a lot to take on. None of us really want to take on, So I understand it completely.
It's got to be a whole week of stress.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I talk to him like once a week, and man, that's all he talks about. That's all that guy talks about is what he's doing for the next race. What did he work out? What did he figure out? What's he changing from the last race? And that's his everything, So I see both ends of it, because Eric's car is everything to him too, and he works really hard to make sure he can be out there and racing with us and being competitive. So that whole deal is just rough, man. It sucks to see. It really bums me out, because I don't want to see either of them not racing or not being a buddy again. That's, to make it a long story short, that's really what I'd like to see, is those guys make it up. Like, just water under the bridge, figure it out, whatever it takes.
100%. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's tough, both sides of it. So I guess we'll kind of leave it there. That wraps up everything from Dome Valley, I think.
I think so. Absolutely. So next stop for Dome is the East Meets West National Challenge. So coming up here in a couple weeks. So good to be back out there, and good to move on to their race number 3 of their scheduled season as well. So
It's going to be nice to get out of the snow is what it's going to be.
Yeah, great. Absolutely. You ain't kidding on that one. So,
well, I'm looking very forward to seeing all you folks, and same program as always. If you need a helping hand, we'll be there for you, because I'm as much as my raccoon talking buddy over there likes to ruffle feathers, we're very excited to see you guys and excited to hang out, shake hands, and
I'm excited. It's going to be a great time, man. And
Tristan,
I can appreciate those guys talking shit. That's okay. I'm good with it.
You are charging a Cheeto bag an hour, right?
Minimal Cheeto bag 2 to the East Coast guys. It's just the standard out here on the West Coast. But and yeah, like I said, man, I'm excited. I want to see your cars. I want to shake your hands, and I'll give you everything I got to make sure you go home with your tail between your legs. But I'm going to shake
a blower motor.
Hey, man, I don't care. Whatever platform. I got enough cars now.
Nice.
But looking forward to it, man. You guys are awesome.
Fantastic. All right, so that is going to wrap our Dome Valley recap for the Arizona Sand Drag Shootout. Hey, folks, and welcome back to more of the Paddle Talk podcast. And we're talking Pismo Arm Drops from this past weekend. Now, none of us were on site, but we've seen some video, and I don't know, do we have any results even on this deal?
That was one thing I was going to try to go and take a look at here, because, man, I don't even honestly know what classes they ended up running with. I definitely saw some of the Northern Central California boys out there with trucks. I know that they did 2 different courses. They did one for ATVs and side-by-sides, and then one for the trucks. The main thing I've been seeing is all the truck content, but I don't know. Don't
to
know
me,
about
it just
much
looks
on the
like the
results
Brown County of the sand world.
The Brown County?
The hell's that?
War in the woods.
Wow.
Oh, God. You're squirrel.
What's that?
Squirrel.
No, I'm calling it out for being unsafe.
I don't know, dude. I feel like Dean would take that as a compliment. That's a pretty cool compliment.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It looks fun. It looks like a great time. But at the same time, the inner racer in me that's been watching all this stuff go on and all the carnage that we've seen coming out of events like that over the last decade and near misses.
Well, yeah, we saw that last year. They actually had 2 trucks kind of almost collect themselves. Thankfully, just a quick touch and they bounced off of each other. But I think that was Argentini's truck, and I can't remember who else it was that got involved with that. But it was kind of sketchy. So it seemed like didn't have any near hits like they had last year. But as far as the safety thing goes, it's weird with this because this is a totally public open.
Yeah, it's not an actual event. It's a, hey, you're invited to come hang out, line up, we'll bang, go.
Yeah, and I mean they got some drags and stuff out there, so like they got that, they had some sponsors throwing some money for stuff. I think they had a timing system for the tree, at least to not timers down track, but I think they actually had a tree this time versus flags.
Okay, because I wouldn't want to be the guy dropping arms with Martin DeCalmo or however you say his name.
No, right? No way.
I've been roosted by Rotus. That's close enough to that.
I think they're doing what they can with what they have, because the biggest challenge with that is it's about I don't know, 25 grand, 30 grand if you own the K-rail to move it out there and set it with a hoe and then pick it back up. So
makes sense.
Which they got to pick it back up because they're on public land. So that's the hard part with that is like,
totally, I get that.
So safety wise, I don't know what they could do aside from maybe get an EMT out there. But other than that, like
I know there's some dune events where they put, I know it ain't much, but the orange fencing to where the drivers can say, "Oh, hey, I see that. I need to be getting on the brakes."
Well, I will give them credit. This year, it seemed like they kept the crowds back a lot further than they
Yes,
Yeah.
did in
very
25.
much.
That was a lot better.
The one thing that I would still hope to see is, and we were talking about this off air, towards the finish line, we're starting to see those crowds kind of curve in, and this happens like every dune like drag spot that you go to. It starts out kind of as a line, and then all of a sudden one curves in a little bit, and all of a sudden you've got like a U shape at the top end, and that's the only thing that I would say is like I wish that they would have
Ultimately
had somebody going
concerning.
down there.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I mean, all it takes is one stuck, throttle on one of those trucks, and
And as
I will
rough
say
as
they
that
got some
track,
quick ones.
and as rough as those dunes get, that can happen really quickly.
Yeah, and there's some quick trucks that were running there too. I mean, you're talking about Martin Del Campo, that dude, that Pro Charge Ford, that thing's a monster,
Oh
and
yeah, and it's a
if
heavy
he
truck too, no less.
very
So
heavy, yeah,
carrying a lot of momentum when it really gets moving.
Yeah.
for sure.
I think that a solution that I don't have the answer to, which I've always said, if I ran my own racetrack, you don't come to me with problems, you come to me with solutions. So this is more of just an idea that probably wouldn't work. So I'm talking out my ass. Forgive me. Best place you can put spectators is 60 foot and back, because even in my car, I'm past 60 foot before there's a real problem.
Yeah.
Now you got a lot of spectators, so managing that might be a whole different program.
Oh yeah,
And I don't know, it's a tricky one, but
it's a
that would
damned
keep
if you
people a
do,
lot
damned
safer.
if you don't situation.
Yeah,
Like,
I think what they're
I
doing is
love
really
that they're
cool.
getting this much attention. I love that they're building these vehicles up. They'll sometimes drag them to a track. They'll get these trucks out there. The sport is got attention, but at the same time, I wish you guys had more tracks out there that you guys could take these to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll say
Absolutely.
Pismo freaking loves it because this brings a lot of people there. I know last year, especially his first year, it was really big, and there was tons of local news articles and stuff talking about how much traffic that weekend brought, and just them selling extra passes out, to the dunes there, and then going in
Right.
town, hotels, grocery stores, all sorts of stuff. Like it makes a good, economic impact to have something that big.
Totally.
And then they're in the growing stages of it right now. Like, if they keep on track with the best of intentions, some point in time they'll have some form of a good barrier up or a crowd prevention plan of some sort,
Uh-huh.
and they'll have EMT and shit there. And if they have all that and they have good track prep, like I'll come out there, dude. I love sand drag racing. I'll drive up there. That'd be fun, man. That's cool. Support it. But
I'd
it's a
have to
matter of
find where it is. I believe they hold a big bounty hole up there in Oregon. They hold a sand drag race up there once a year out on the dunes, and people are a good 300 feet away from the track, but they keep it prepped smooth and everything, and it looks like a good time.
Oh, are you talking about the Moses Lake
Yes, that's
deal?
it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is it Oregon or is that? I think that's Utah. I thought
Oh, okay. My bad on that.
maybe. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of cool dunes, and like, hey, let's not like forget it wasn't that long ago. Well, it was kind of long ago, but in the '80s they ran everything up to top fuel cars in Glamis.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, who
Well,
knows?
that's the
Who knows
heavy
where this
metal.
could lead to?
The heavy metal car used to go out and play in the dunes, didn't it?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Yep, my dad went with him. It was my dad and Rick, Dan Shittington, and oh man, what's his name? Bob Hill. Bob Hill? Yeah, James Hill's dad with the average white Jeep. I remember seeing pictures of that thing. Center seat Jeep with zoomies on it, white body with blue flames.
Well, I'd have to see a picture of it.
Yep, those are the old days, man. My dad went off the top of Olds. The throttle stuck on the carburetors. He ripped the pedal out of the floorboard. Went off top of Olds like 100 plus miles an hour. Bent
We
up
need
a
to
car.
get you out here and put you in your buggy on the Eliminator Hill sometime.
Oh, that sounds like Danger Things. I could do it once.
70-foot tall, and you stage on the side.
Jesus. No, dude, we got Kylie's car for that. It's got a beam front end and everything. It's ready.
Yeah.
No, I think what they're doing is cool, man. I support it. I just I think that they're in the same thing, kind of the growing stages. You know, they got a lot of bugs to work out. That went from like a everybody get together and door bang in the dunes to
Now
like
it's a big party.
it's a legit event now. Yeah, those guys are actually putting on some pretty cool races, man. And I think that if they grow accordingly with it and are able to like really manage the people, man, that's a cool race. I'd love to race my car out there. That'd be really cool. But it's just got to be safe, you know. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. It feels like honestly, it feels like they're like in the early stages of like Hayfield Shootout was, which once they started to get their sea legs underneath them, so to speak, and that really took off in the idea of, hey, now we've got it safe and we can have really fast stuff here all at the same time. So I feel like that's kind of where they're at. So any luck on any results or anything, Caleb?
I have been looking and I just see a bunch of people posting stuff. Not seeing any results. I can't even find where they had as far as the classes go. I know they had some trophies that they handed out, that they had some sponsors. I know they had, what was really cool is they were they had out there like some of the, I don't know if they were sponsors, but some booths out there for some of the off-road like recreation advocacy groups. So they had Corva, they had Friends of Oceano Sand Dunes. Obviously, those guys are the reason that they can even do the drags out there.
Yeah.
Because they've been instrumental in actually getting the Oceano Sand Dunes, Pismo as we know it out here, to be open for people to use it recreationally. So shout out to Jim Sudi on that. Because man, that dude, he comes out and races sand drags and stuff with us, especially up at Abnall. But that dude is a ninja when it comes to messing with all of these different groups that try to shut down having Pismo Dunes for fun. So yeah, it was cool to see those guys out there for sure.
Sweet. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if you have results or anything from Pismo, class list, that sort of thing, get it to us. We would love to talk about it some more, and we think it's a great event. We just like to see some more info on it. I think that pretty much covers where we're at on it at this point. So
yeah,
we like seeing the coverage. We just like a little more information so we can talk a little more about it than we already do.
I think it's that Dean Bailey's putting that stuff on, right?
Yeah, he's been involved with getting it. I know he's got a few other people that have been really pushing it too. But yeah, maybe we'll get see if we can't get in touch with Dean and get a little bit more info on it. But we definitely wanted to talk about it because it was a big happening this last weekend, and just seeing all the videos and stuff, it was super cool. So it definitely drew a lot of media attention.
Oh,
for sure. Seemed like there's a lot of people there too, which is cool.
I'm glad it turned out to be overall a safe event. Nothing really crazy happening. No one getting hurt. So it went off without a hook, in my opinion. There.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be cool to hear what Dean's got to say about their future and where they're going with that, because it's undeniable. It's going down and it's going well. So I feel like it's going in a good direction. With I would imagine you'll see some more legit races out there, like with safety and everything. And like I said, dude, if it starts heading that direction, I'll head that direction too. That'd be cool, man.
So to anyone in that dune world, if you can get them to make them have a decent track prep and a safe race, you might see some top alcohol cars out there.
100%. My dumb ass will be out there.
All right, so that's going to put a wrap on this segment of the Paddle Talk podcast. And here we go.